Yep. Hey everyone, it's Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment again. It's been kind of a long hiatus here. We've been kind of wrestling with a few things and trying to get back on track here, but we managed to swing back around here. We're ready to do our Building the Perfect album for the 80s, which if anybody was around during that time, there was kind of a major shift in music going on about this time. So this is going to be a very interesting list to do. Joined today, I've got Rich Strickler, who's always with us here. And Doc, thanks for joining us again. Really appreciate it. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to what was kind of cool about this is that about the same time we were doing this list, we thought about doing a top 10 movie list starting at 1980, and the timing worked out almost perfect to where what we decided to do, we were going to do some things in tandem. So what we're going to do is tonight we'll record our perfect album for 1980, but we'll also be recording our top 10 movies for 1980, and we're hopefully getting both of those released concurrently later this week. That's our plan anyway. And but the series will always run together from week to week. So if you watch one video on my channel, make sure you spring over to Rich's channel, check out his channel for the movies, and that way you get kind of a double flavor here. So just always a reminder as well that we put Spotify links up of all of our playlists for the music portion of it. So if you want to go back and spin some of the tunes that we selected, if you're not familiar with them or you just like them, go back and play those Spotify lists. I think they're great to have, and I've got them on my personal playlist. I follow both of these guys, and it's great to go back and spin those. So, guys, what'd you think of 1980?
Doc? Oh yeah, it's man, it's a hard turn from the 70s right into the 80s, if you ask me, man. Yeah. I think you summed it up there, Brian. Pretty good walking into this one. This decade changes. There's a lot of great 80s music, I think, out there, and we're gonna have some great picks as we move through the decade. But I think the separation between the three of us and our picks are going to come up pretty strongly here as we move along. I think this is where we'll really start to see some separation.
Yeah. I agree.
But the music goes that way too. So the music gets very diverse, and in the beginning of the 80s, we're going to find out, and it goes on for the next 40 years that it gets very diverse. And this is the beginning of.
You would think that arbitrary thing like switching a decade wouldn't make that much of a difference to music, but for some reason, if you look through history, this seems like it does.
It does. Yeah, this is the year it happened.
It did from 60s to 70s, and it's doing the same thing 70s to 80s.
Yeah.
There's that defining line, and there's some artists that can carry over and still be successful, but there's a lot of new blood coming in as well, and different styles. So we'll try and cover it between the three of us. I'm sure we will.
That's right. So the order tonight, we got Rich is going to go first tonight. Rich, your favorite decade, and you get to go first. What more could you ask for? And I'll follow him up going second. And Doc, you're gonna bat some cleanup tonight. So Rich, why don't you start us off? Get us off going strong here.
Yeah, I'm going to just burn through these. There's not really a lot to say on my end. I'm going to mix in maybe 2 surprises out of my 12 songs, and the rest of them are, pretty, I would say, commercial artists, pop rock, stuff that you're used to from me. So I'm going to kick it off the first side here, side A, and song 1. I'm going to go out and take a page out of Doc's playbook here, a little AC/DC and Hell's Bells from the Back in Black album. Nice. The album has a little sound effect with the chimes and the ringing of the bells, and then kicks into some hard rock, tribute sort of to Mr. Bon Scott, who passed away earlier in the year. And you got Brian Johnson leading the way on the vocals here. The usual hooks and stuff that you expect from AC/DC. It's just catchy, hard rock. Most of their songs are the same as far as, they have the great guitar solos and the different licks here and there. And this probably is my second favorite album of theirs. It's neck and neck with Highway to Hell. I like them both a lot. So I'm going to go with Hell's Bells to lead the album off. Next, I'm going to kick it into a little Billy Joel from Glass Houses, You May Be Right, which is sort of it was a successful, I think it was a top 10 song. Mm-hmm. Kind of new wavy for Billy Joel. It's got the glass shattering at the beginning. It's the opening track off Glass Houses, and then it gets into You May Be Right, I May Be Crazy. It's just a lunatic I'm looking for. It's not so much a ballad, but a little bit of a rocker. to a degree. My third song is Pat Benatar, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I've always liked this song. She's a newer artist in 1980. She's just recently inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I wanted to honor her with that and put her on this particular year in this album. My fourth track is from Steely Dan's Gaucho album, Hey 19. Again, I like Steely Dan. They have that jazz fusion rock. This is a story about a middle-aged guy dating a 19-year-old girl and finding they really don't have a lot in common. She don't remember Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, and he settles for the fine Colombian and the Cuervo Gold. You're just going to get wasted and maybe catch a buzz and maybe not think too much about it. But I like the song Hey 19. We've got nothing in common. We can dance together and all that stuff. It's just a relationship kind of song with a groove. My fifth track is The River, the title track by Bruce Springsteen, title track of that album, which is a really solid album. This is a song about a guy that's, a factory worker or whatever, and a union guy, and gets a girl pregnant, and he's got a union card and a wedding coat, and all of a sudden he's making that transition from the teen years or early 20s into real life where he's in a situation he's got to take care of the girl, and he goes down to the river, and that's his solace to get away from some of the stresses of life. So I wanted to put that on this album. And my sixth tune is from Bob Seger, Against the Wind, title track, one of my favorite Seger tunes. Again, this is caught up in the hustle bustle, and he's still riding against the wind and doing the trips and riding 8 miles a minute at months at a time, talking about the planes and deadlines and commitments, what to leave in, what to leave out. He's still a rock and roll star doing his thing, and he writes about it autobiographically in the lyrics, which I'm into. So that's how I'm going to end side A with a little Bob Seger.
Absolutely zero surprises for me. I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, at first I thought we were going to be like bang on, like your first two out of the gate, but
really?
you picked a different song from Joel, and we'll get into that. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, all that, the rest of that stuff, I'm going, that's straight up all Rich.
Yeah,
that's all Rich. I love it.
Totally agree, Brian. That is definitely all Rich. No real surprises. I do know you do like a little bit of the Back in Black there from AC/DC and the Highway to Hell album. So great start to the album, honestly, buddy. That's starting off with AC/DC. I mean, that's right in my wheelhouse, buddy. So, but outside that, Brian's right on, man. No real surprises.
Yeah, and three of those artists are carryovers. Billy Joel, Springsteen, and Seger made their bones in the 70s. Here they come in the 80s. They're still successful. Even Steely Dan, for that matter. So,
80 and 81, it seems like those artists could still kind of
go
do what they were doing, and it's okay.
Yeah.
When it hit 82 that things got a little shaky for the guys in the 70s who didn't adapt, right? It's kind of
Yeah, by then MTV's in full swing and make your move, So, all right, here we go. Side B.
Side B.
Side B, maybe a little different tempo with some newer artists here. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to go with Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police from the Zenyatta Mandata album. Basically a story about a Lolita situation, a teacher with a young student. He's kind of noticing her, which is kind of creepy in today's climate, but Sting wrote about it back then, and Don't Stand So Close to Me. I've always liked the song. It's got a great little beat to it and catchy, as the Police were back in those days. My second track is from Peter Gabriel, Games Without Frontiers. Love the song. It's kind of a unique song. Hans plays with Lottie. Lottie plays with Jane. All that kind of, they're putting the names together, and if looks could kill, they probably will, and Games Without Frontiers. You got all these little kids playing in trees and doing little, he comes up with a rhyming scheme and makes sense of it. But I like the song. I don't think it is a real deep song, but it's a cool song to listen to. My third track is from U2 off their first album, Bowie, and the song is called I Will Follow. A real kind of high energy song from Bono and The Edge. They come right out of the gate. This is the opening track off their first album. Walk away, I will follow. I remember seeing it at the Red Rocks concert on film, and it was probably one of the better songs they came out with in the early days. Really enjoy it. My fourth track is from Talking Heads, which is different for me because I'm not a huge fan, but I like the song Once in a Lifetime from Remain in Light. You know, you may think, you know, look at that big house and the big automobile and, you know, who are you and what have I done? He's kind of like a nervous breakdown in the video almost, but it's kind of a life song, once in a lifetime. A guy caught in the reality of life. Then I'm going to slow it down with my fifth track. This is Tom Waits off Heart Attack and Vine. My favorite Tom Waits song, which is really a stretch here. It's called On the Nickel. And this is a song about the bums on Fifth Street in LA. It's called On the Nickel. And the guys are stranded for meals and sleeping on the street. And Tom Waits' voice is very authentic. When you hear it, I mean, he can be one of those people. He looks the part, even though, you know, he's a songwriter and so forth. But he's got that scraggly voice, and the way he enunciates things gives it a sense of realism, which I like. And I'm going to end my side B and the album with John Lennon, Watching the Wheels from Double Fantasy. This was recorded like 6 weeks before he was assassinated, or at least it was released, the album Double Fantasy with John and Yoko. And,
October.
Sitting there watching the wheels go round and round. It's kind of ironic in a way. He's sitting there watching life, and all of a sudden, you know, 2 months later, he's gone. It was a big deal for people of my generation. So that's how I'm going to end the album in 1980.
Nice. I had 2 matches on that side. Rich, that's crazy, huh? You wouldn't think, right? But
I wasn't predicting that at all. No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, here we go again.
I'm not.
He said,
Hey, I'm holding the cards. I'm going to hold them.
I like it. That's the advantage of going last. You can hold them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like your Talking Heads pick. I've got a new appreciation for like David Byrne.
Yeah.
You know, lately how he mixes early on he's mixing world beat music.
Yeah.
You know, in the late 70s and 80s, and nobody was even thinking about doing that. He's got such an interesting voice pattern.
Yeah.
That I love his songs. It's all so original.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Cool. Let's see what you guys
And
have.
Doc, you still quiet, huh?
I really like the album for 1980 for you, Rich. I think it's a really solid album. And yeah, to Brian's point, yeah, I like the expansion there because I know some of those aren't really your sweet spots, but obviously some songs stand out to you, which I think is pretty cool, especially at that time.
Yeah.
And it shows that your music was changing too, that you could go with different things too. So I think that's pretty cool.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to do with the album. I wanted to get away from maybe my comfort zone a little bit and add some people that we're going to make a difference in the decade to come. So that's what I did.
That's what it showed. I think it's very cool.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Well, starting off my side A, I've got Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Oh my God.
I thought it would be that perfect song to, you know, from Back in Black anyway, to lead off 1980 anyway. It's just a perfect slow intro with the bells and the slight guitar coming in and the slow build. Perfect song, I think, to start with AC/DC. Now that I've heard 2 of you say that you prefer Highway to Hell more over Back in Black, I'm thinking maybe Back in Black's just a more convenient pick for people who aren't AC/DC, fans. They pick it because it's the easiest one they can remember, I think, maybe.
They're both very good, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both are solid, man.
I mean, I prefer, that Let It Be Rock more than either, but that's fine. I mean,
sure.
It's a solid album for sure.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me, I got from Glass Houses, Billy Joel. I've got It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
Yeah.
I thought, I really like the song. I think it's kind of fun and catchy and easy to sing. And, I can remember having some of this stuff on 45 now. That's the nostalgic part that's kind of coming back to me now. And, playing it over and over again rather than just, playing a whole album. So number 3 for me, I've got we got a trifecta, but it's a trifecta from a carryover from last year. I've got Refugee from Tom Petty here.
Good.
because it said it started charting in January of 1980. I didn't get a chance to verify that, but I had one book source that told me that. But I love the song. I think that album is a great album, and I'm glad that one of the songs actually carried over to the next year. So it gives me a little bit of an out. So number 4.
Before you go any further, Brian, I
Right.
have to respect you for doing the reverse on my Fleetwood and taking one with you into the next year.
right.
That was
That's
awesome. So that's cool.
Speaking of carrying something into the future, Pink Floyd had another song chart in 1980 that did not chart in 79, even though the album did. That was Another Brick in the Wall Part 2.
Oh, that's right.
2.
So I put that at my number 4 spot. I figured that would be the perfect, place to put it. I actually ran into a guy today, didn't realize there were like 3 parts of Another Brick in the Wall on the actual album.
Oh my God.
I'm like, yeah. I said, you only heard part 2. Part 2 is on stuff they put on the radio. So number 5 for me, I've got Genesis, Misunderstanding.
Good one.
Now we're starting to kind of get into the groove of what Genesis is going to be in the 80s.
Yeah.
A little bit, and really catchy tune. I love Phil's voice in this. It's really got this dynamic stereotype sound that some of the earlier prog stuff that certainly did not have after Peter Gabriel left. And closing out my side, I've got Dire Straits. I've got Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Good tune, man.
Mark Knopfler, like one of the most interesting guitarists, but also listening to him sing the song, maybe one of the most interesting approaches to a song that really doesn't follow the regular rhyme scheme. If you listen really close, it's really an interesting song, and I wanted to put it here. So
I like it. Romeo and Juliet, my last cut. I hated to let it go, and Misunderstanding was one of my honorable mentions too. So I like all 6 of the songs you picked. I really do. Every one of them.
Yeah.
No comment again,
It's
Doc?
just a miss. But I like your album. So, maybe not exact same artists and stuff, or same tunes and stuff, but
Yeah,
we're floating around the same neighborhood. I'll say
we're
that.
going to be hovering. I have a feeling we'll hover.
I can listen
I'm trying to divide my albums up into the same type of thing. The ones that were popular that I really liked when I was a kid, but also the stuff that I've discovered recently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to balance that out a little bit, so I'm trying to be good about it.
I could listen to that side straight through, no problem. I like everything.
Yeah, totally.
Now the second side, yeah, I think we're going to be okay on the second side too. I mean, I do have a couple, weird ones here, but I kicked off the second side with maybe the first popular rap song, but it's Rapture by Blondie. Which there's a section of it in which she's rapping, and she actually makes reference to Flash is fast, Flash is cool, and she's referencing Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, who's a hip hop band that came out about around that time frame, and they were very prominent in the underground hip hop scene. So I love this. I mean, they used to play this song at the pool like 5 times in an hour. Kids just kept playing Rapture over and over again. It was kind of crazy. What a crazy fad. Number 2 on this side, I picked a deep cut from Queen's The Game. I picked one which Brian May sung. It's called Sail Away, Sweet Sister. It is a fantastic tune. And because when I first played it for my wife, she's like, that's not Freddie Mercury singing that song. And I go, no, that's Brian May. So it's like, he did that song. He wrote it. He sang it. It's a really powerful tune. I wanted to include that on there, something a little different from Queen. Number 3 for me, I've got Games Without Frontiers.
Nice.
Got that, like Rich said, it's almost kind of a childish nursery rhyme scheme to the song that makes it so interesting. I'm sure there's a deeper meaning to about, politics and war, and
I'm sure
on a very childlike level, which, really all war should be considered childlike in a way. But it's a great song. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting way to put it together. And then Rich and I also matched on Talking Heads. We have Once in a Lifetime. I spoke a little bit about, I'm a big fan of David Byrne lately, especially some of his solo material. And so I'm spinning a lot of the old Talking Head stuff again, like Fear and Music and, Little Creatures and things like that, just to try to get a feel for him again. Great artist. I love the way he puts his song together. This one's probably the one that's looks like the true Brian pick. I've got The Cure, A Forest, from their album 17 Seconds. Now we're going to, you'll start getting into a little bit of the alternative deeper stuff coming through, and the Cure early on were one of those bands that kind of would represent maybe early emo goth type of electronica that would kind of dominate the underground scene a little bit. The Force, very luscious synthesizer based song that I kind of taken to. And this one here, you know, I know maybe catch a little bit of flack for it, but I actually have an ABBA song here. I've got The Winner Takes It All. You know, it is a powerful song, and it's funny that the reaction I got just by doing a reaction to this particular song from the wide community of people that I had. I mean, there's like a large segment of the world population that thinks ABBA are absolute gods. They're gods.
Yeah.
And this is a good song. It's a powerful song, and it's got a lot of texture to it. And I've grown to appreciate ABBA over the last several months. So
very cool.
Yeah, that was pretty good, Brian. I liked it.
I like how you have Games Without Frontiers and Once in a Lifetime, for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Rich. We hit on quite a few there. So
very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell's Bells too.
Yeah, that's right.
And like I said, I had Romeo and Juliet. That was like my 13th song. If it was a double album, it was on for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80 was an interesting year.
80 was a very interesting year. And I'm gonna do mine now, and it'll sound interesting to me, but it'll sound maybe not that interesting to you. We'll find out.
All right, Doc, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Hitting cleanup, eh? So what better way to start an album than with Hell's Bells, man? I don't know if you can start.
That's amazing.
The AC/DC, Back in Black, man. Look, we've talked about it here previously, and yeah, Highway to Hell's my favorite. Back is probably my second favorite, if you want the truth. You know, what do you do for money? I don't. You know, there's a load of songs. I could have taken almost any song off of here too, if you want the truth. You know, but Hell's Bells is a rock classic from AC/DC, pumping it out here. And this is Brian's first kick. This is the first song you hear from Brian, the new singer of AC/DC, man, after Bond. So, great anthem, great AC/DC anthem too, man. So it's a great way to start a song, great way to start the album. My second song is, have you seen Junior's Grades? It's And the Cradle Will Rock by Van Halen. For sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is there's a couple tunes off this album, Man, Women, and Children. This is a great album too, man. It's this is a great rock song from Van Halen. Early Van Halen sounds good to me, man, and I like good heavier rock, and you're gonna find that out right now. So, but you guys already know that anyway. But And the Cradle Will Rock is a great follow up, I think, to Hell's Bells to go to my second tune. This side's gonna rock pretty heavy, guys. So didn't see this one coming. So and it's not even my favorite song from this band, but I love this tune, man. It's Living After Midnight by Judas Priest is gonna be my third tune in, man.
Okay.
I don't love a lot of Judas Priest, man, but some songs I really do like. Sometimes they're really just too catchy for me not to have on my list. And Living After Midnight, man, is a great rock song, man. A heavier tune, obviously, it's Judas, but they weren't always like this either. So they morphed into this heavier rock or metalish band over time. But Living After Midnight, man, another great rock song. And sometimes I really do like the sound of Judas Priest, and this is one of them. So, man, I'm surprised I didn't hear this one before, but I got Crazy Train next, man, from Ozzy. So,
okay.
It's his biggest song. It's a different sound because he's out of the Sabbath thing. Now this is Ozzy on his own, right? So this is him showing what he can do. And Crazy Train's I don't know, iconic rock song, man, to me. So
I'm a little behind. Was Randy Rhoads still? Did he play the guitar on this track, or was he?
I don't know. I don't know if Randy was in the band at this time or not. I don't know if he came after or not. He might have been there actually at this time. This could have been the beginning of it. So, Tony. So, yeah, you could be right.
I have to look it up. I have to look it up.
Good question. So I'm going to follow that up with a Bob Seger tune.
Hey.
Man, I had a tough time keeping it. How could I go from Crazy Train and Living After Midnight into a Bob Seger tune and stuff? But I'm going to keep it kind of heavier, man. I got Her Strut, man.
I like that. Good pick.
Okay.
it's a heavier Bob tune or whatever. It's got a great bass line in this tune, man. And this is a rock song from Bob, and it's like there's some great songs on this album, man. And I like a few of them, Accompany Me or Against the Wind, like you mentioned, Rich. And this one's just a rock tune from him, and it's, to be honest with you, for the last maybe year or so, this song has grown on me more and more. It's climbing up the ladder on my Bob charts, man. So one I go to a lot.
Yep.
And I'm going to end this side with what I consider maybe one of the greatest rock pop songs of all time. You guys know that's my opinion, but it's Rush's "The Spirit of Radio" is going to end my song. So, if you could have a song with more changes in a song, you couldn't have one. This is the song with the most changes in a song. This song goes every direction you could possibly think of. The drumming, the guitars, the bass. It's talking about a radio station here in Toronto is what it's about. That's where I'm from. So the Spirit of Radio really put Rush, shall we say, on the map before Moving Pictures comes in 81. This is what really set them off. And 2112 told the studios to F off. This is what we're doing. This is them showing we can do it with the help of whatever we want to do, and they can do it really well. So that's why I'm ending my side A in 80.
Awesome.
So based on the information that we have for your side A, the first question I have is, how long was your mullet in the 80s, Doc?
I was out here, buddy.
Stay true to yourself. I got to give you that. You
I know.
came out of the gate flying and never let off. Except
you never let off the gas on the hard rock here. And I'm like, I've actually got to go look up two of the songs, because I for some reason I always thought it was Crocus who did Living After Midnight. Maybe they did a cover of it.
They did.
Okay. That's I know the song. I just didn't know Judas Priest's version, I guess.
Yep.
I got to listen to the Spirit of the Radio now too, because I guess I don't know the song.
That's just a maniac song, man. The instruments in that tune are just insane.
Yeah, that's all you, man. You come out with AC/DC, Van Halen, Judas Priest, Rush is on there, and
Ozzy.
And the only one that doesn't fit is Seger, but I'm
Seger. But it's a heavier song. It's the most rock song I got from Seger, and I wanted it on there. So.
Yeah, you would have tanked it if you'd have said Against the Wind and mixed it in with that. I mean,
it had to be her strut.
Yeah, you'd have
blew your side. My side B. But hey, we hit on Hell's Bells. Remember I told you?
Yeah, we did.
My gut going in was the one trifecta, right? So,
and it was a leadoff song on all.
It was a leadoff too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Didn't expect to hear that, did we?
We did not. Oh, all right. Side 2.
Flip it over. All right, everybody, no more drinking. We're going to have some coffees and tone this thing down, okay? So let's see where we go. So I'm going to start off with Bowie's Ashes to Ashes to start my side B, man. So
good. That's good.
Yeah, I love this tune. Another one of Bowie showing Bowie doing whatever the hell he wants to do and doing it really well. And this guy here's a guy that we talk about bands that may or may not go through transitions from decade to decade. This guy eats it up, man. This guy doesn't care what decade he's in. He's just going to flow with the times. And this guy's like a leader in that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ashes to Ashes is what a funky tune that is, man. That's a great song from Bowie. Going to follow that up with the solo from my buddy Pete Townsend. My Love Opened the Door. I'm going to follow that up, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Still sounds like Doc, doesn't it? So,
It still does.
So it's and this is Townsend doing his thing, right? So this isn't a Who song. This is actually, and it sounds like a Townsend song, man. And Townsend maybe doesn't get a lot of credit for his voice and stuff like that, but he still sounds great second to me, man. So always good backup with the Who, and he can show this on his solo stuff too. So a couple good tunes off this album, Rough Boys and this one. So Let My Love Open the Door is I've been listening to that since 1980, man. I don't know what to say. Still do. Who knew we'd hit 2, eh? So Gabriel, Game Without Frontiers, man. That's going to be my third one in.
There we go.
I'm shocked. But I'm glad. Nice job.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great song, man. And you're right. It's the rhyming and the way he connects this song and stuff, Rich, you touched on it really well put, man, because that thing's going all over the place, but he brings it all together into a really good tune. And yeah, Gabriel's out there, man. I guess in one sense, he's not a straight and narrow kind of guy in the music scene. Got a little bit of that Burn neighborhood there on Talking Heads, a little quirky.
Yeah.
But it fits, man. And when it fits on something like this, and he hits a few times, right? And he's got some pretty good music, and this is a great tune. Yeah. So Games is going to be my third one in on this side. But yeah, David is a weird guy. So there's our third trifecta with Once in a Lifetime.
Oh my God.
Wow. I would have never thought. There's no way.
Yeah. And it's another one of those artists, right? So I'm not a massive Talking Heads dude, man. There's no getting around that. But if I'm cherry picking songs that I really like, or even quirky songs from them that aren't mainstream that I really like them. Albums are a little harder for me on a listen full, but if I cherry pick 2 or 3 from each, I can be pretty happy listening to some Talking Heads, man. And this is great. This is talk about a different vibe for 1980, man. You're not hearing this from anybody, man. This is brand new. So what a great tune.
Yeah, that's a great tune.
I remember it coming out, man. It was fantastic, and it's still a great tune, man. Now this I did not see coming. What are the chances that me and Brian both pull Sail Away, Sweet Sister from the game?
Oh my God.
Wow, a deep cut. That's incredible.
That might be the shocker of the night.
Definitely my favorite tune from that album. I like a lot of songs on that album.
Yeah.
I really do. I think kind of an underrated Queen album, if you want the truth, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
I think the title track is great. I think Dragon Attack is good. Don't Try. All the other little songs.
Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Crazy Little Thing.
Yeah.
It's a great album. It's a great album. But Sail Away, Sweet Sister, always been my favorite song on this album since 1980. Since I got the album when it first came out, I bought this album. So,
wow. Now, Rich, you got to go listen to it.
Now you got to go listen to it.
I will after that, for sure.
Just a different vibe for that, man. And Brian wrote it. And then, Brian, you're right. That's a May tune, man. And it sounds awesome. Maybe it's just different for what it is, but it sounds awesome. And I love that song. So good on you, Brian. Good call, brother.
Thank you.
That's what I'll say to that. And you end it with, what did I end it with? I ended it with Just Like Starting Over from Lennon. So
good choice. That's a good one. That's
I wanted a farewell tune from John. I didn't know which one I was going with, Wheels or that one. To be honest with you, Rich, and I had both written down, and I'm going to stick with the one I had written down first. So it's Just Like Starting Over, man.
I like the fact
his last big hit, and it's like
I did. That was cool. I like it.
Yeah, that's how I end it.
That's I would have never thought there's no way that we could get basically 4 trifectas out of this particular year. I would have thought no way, especially most of them coming from the second side of our albums.
Yeah.
That's the really weird part about it. But at least it shows the fact that even though at the time, like when I'm 12 and 13 years old, those songs weren't in my mind then, but later on in life, I was exposed to them and I appreciated them for what they are now, for sure. I mean, it's not like I was spinning Talking Heads when I was 11 and 12 years old. No, I wasn't. No.
But it was funky when you heard it, man.
Exactly. But when I finally got around to it and understood what I was listening to, it was great. It was
4 out of 12 trifectas. That's 33%. That's really hard to do, man.
That's hard to do in 1980, man.
Yeah, 1980.
We're talking about how diverse the whole year is. Meanwhile, we're hitting on 33% of our picks.
That's I know. Insane. You could do that in 1969 or 70, but in 1980, come on.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah. Wow. And the misses were just the just misses, right? Misunderstanding and the river.
Yeah.
I had the other Seger songs. I had Touch and Go by the Cars. I had I Will Follow. That was a late cut too, if you want the truth. That's a great tune, man.
Yeah.
Great start for them.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a few honorable mentions. I had Tunnel of Love and Romeo and Juliet from the Making Movies Dire Straits album. You'll Accompany Me in Her Strut, Seger. She's So Cold by the Stones. I always like that song. While You See a Chance, Stevie Winwood, like that song. Talk of the Town by the Pretenders. I got Out in the Street and Point Blank from Springsteen. Late in the Evening, Paul Simon. Misunderstanding, Genesis. Let My Love Open the Door, Pete Townsend. Any Way You Want It by Journey, and Call Me and The Tide Is High by Blondie. Those are the ones I had down.
Yeah, man, that's pretty good, Brad.
I had my last 2 out were Against the Wind and The River.
Wow,
that was my last 2 out before I shuffled 2 others in.
Yeah, this might be the year that we really concentrated on our own style of album the most, man. I mean, I know it was 12 songs, so you really got to focus and chop some dead wood at the last minute, so to speak. But
Yeah.
we all, the Doc's album's all him, Brian himself, you know, and I did the best I could. So I
Yeah, it's all you too, Rich. It's
Yeah.
all you.
Absolutely.
But I bet you between the three of us, we'd have no problem going to anyone's house and hanging out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, even if it's the hard rock that you picked on your side one, I love all those songs. It's just not my go-to, you know what I'm saying? But I can listen to them anytime.
Yeah, we just get you in the mood at the beginning of the party, then you'll tone it down for side B, man. That's
right. Exactly. Very cool.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our 1980 of Building the Perfect album.
Cool.
Had a lot of fun. I just want to remind everyone to please check out Rich Strickler's channel. Rich has been putting out a lot of different material on his channel for music and movies. He will also be putting together the movie portion of our countdown stuff will be on Rich's channel. So make sure to check him out. Rich, thank you for joining us. Doc, thank you for joining us. Be sure to check out the Spotify list down below of our playlist for 1980. And can't wait to get socking into 1981 and see if we can get some more trifectas here, fellas. So
looking forward to it.
all right. Everybody take care out there.
Later.